started, guys, I'll immediately share my screen and I'll go through the presentation. If you are a person that is that knows how to navigate through the email, that know how to navigate through the Mac, can put attachments in, can work with the PDFs, combine PDFs, and so on, then this might even be extremely helpful to you. Alternatively, if these things that I just mentioned to you sound a bit foreign and is news to you, then I would say maybe, come to our Mac orientation session. It's a free 1.5 hour session. It runs every second Monday. And you can maybe join up with that session. Alternatively, if you want to go through a manual, you can go through, you guys can see my screen, right? Perfect. So you can go to About This Mac, and under About This Mac, under Support, there's a small little user manual that you can download. Okay, so it's pretty basic, but it shows you the basic navigation and so on. And you can just go and you export it as a PDF, and you've got a PDF booklet of some of the basic, very basic features of your Mac. Alternatively, if you are used to the navigational side of your Mac, then you can check out the help menus, which I'm going to show you guys now. So to access your user guide or your macOS help, you can just go to help at the top and click on macOS help. So another way to actually do this is you can get into Spotlight search, right? You can be in any application in Spotlight search, and you can just type in help, and it will come up with help viewer, and that will take you through the same help menu. Another thing that I just want to bring to your attention is that this is a floating menu, meaning that whichever other app you open, so if I open Safari or even open my notes, you will see that my menu will always run at the top, because it's basically a user guide for you to help you along while you're going to other menus as well. Okay, so don't worry if your applications land at the bottom or behind it. That's just part of how it is built. You can resize the window as you go along. Okay, so I'm just gonna minimize all the other stuff in the background. So now that we have a quick understanding about the user guide or how to open it, let's dive a little bit deeper into it. Now, once it's open, right, you can scroll down and it will show you your different topics. Okay, just basic or more of the general topics of your Mac. You can go into a bit deeper. So if you want to learn what you can do in your desktop, you can click on it. It will take you a little bit deeper into it. You can see how to work with stacks. You can see how to work with your markup files and Siri and so on. But you can actually go into a little bit more deeper into these things. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to go to my table of contents. So now if I click on my table of contents, it takes me into the different topics that I can access. Now, just to quickly touch on a few things, right? Now, even I myself as a trainer, I picked up quite a few nuggets when I went through the help menu of Catalina the one day. So I'm just going to show you guys a few things. So I'm going to go through my basics. So if I click on my basics, it drops down. It shows me all the different things I can look at on my basic side. Let's quickly go to something that we generally use. Let's go to our doc. Okay. Now under our doc, it shows us how our doc is built up. And at the bottom, it shows me a few things. It says open items on the doc. Okay, now if I look at this, I know how to do number one. Open an app, click on the app icon, and it will open. The second one I can also do, open a file in an app by dragging the file over the app icon and it will open it. This is pretty interesting, and this is what I mean. So say, for instance, I want to take this screenshot and I want to add it as an attachment. I can actually drag it straight onto Mail. And what it will do is it will open Mail, open a mail message, there's the attachment. Okay. So pretty interesting nugget, but that one I knew already. But if I look at this one where it says to show item in Finder, command click on the item icon. So now if I want to see this in Finder, I can hold down my command key and click on it, and lo and behold, there it opens in Finder, right? So it shows me certain things that I wasn't aware of, and I can go through the other ones as well. Switch to previous app and hide current app. So if I had multiple apps open, so if I should open my Safari browser, my notes, and let me open another small app. Let me open my contacts. If I should now, what does it say there? Option and click on the current app icon. So if I say my maps and I hold down my option or my alt, then it will hide all the previous apps, and it will only show me um, my maps. And I can also do the other one here. So you can pick up quite a few interesting nuggets in here by just checking out your specific topic for that menu. Okay, so now that we have looked at how we can access these things and how we can actually look at these and use it and apply it, we can actually look at some of the newer features of an operating system. You know, Big Sur is now mentioned on Apple. So when that comes out, we can even look at the new features on that. And this is one example that I want to show you guys. So one of the major big features of Catalina is accessibility features. Now there's quite a few of them that came out. The one is where you can use voice over your voice to control your Mac. Um, there's also the one that is called hover text. So when hover text came up and I had to do an accessibility um, presentation, I went into the website and I checked it out, and it came to this where it says make content on the screen larger. And yeah, I can use my mouse and my trackpad to zoom in and so on. But and it says here you can use hover text. So I was like, okay, cool. I want to actually check that out. So I could click on this, and it takes me into more detail of it and so on. But instead of me going online, I could actually just go straight into my help menu. So again, I go to my macOS help. And this time around, instead of me going and searching for it here, I can actually search it at the top. So I'm just going to type in hover text. And you can see as I type it in, it says the suggestion hover text. I go into it, and there it gives me all the different options. I click on use hover text on Mac. Now, with this, it shows you the why. Okay, you want to use it. And what hover text does is it expands the text of any text that you are looking at. Maybe smaller font, it will make it bigger. So yeah, it explains to me what I can do. And it says to me, on your Mac, choose the Apple menu, system preference, click on accessibility, then click zoom. Now, this is if you really want to now go through the paths. Alternatively, it gives you the link. It takes you straight to that point. So if I just say open zoom pane for me, and it will open it straight in that zoom pane as mentioned. Now here I can tick my enable hover text. Okay, now they explain here in detail what you can do. Okay, I'm just going to jump through for the sake of time. I'm just going to run through it quickly. It says there, you know, if you position a window and go over text basically, then it will give you the text, but or the hover text or the larger text. And it also says that you can lock it. So wherever you go, it will just give you the larger text. Now, if I look at my hover text, it says there, press the command key to display larger text. So if I hold down my command key and I go to any place, it will actually show me larger text. Okay, pretty cool. But now it says there, if I triple tap my command key, here you can see to unlock the window and press the key 3 times. So now if I triple tap it, 1, 2, 3, it will lock it. So now if I go into any text, it will automatically expand the text. Okay, and I can scroll in it as well to see more. I don't want to show this all the time, so I'm just gonna triple tap it again to close it. So I go 1, 2, 3. So it's now closed. So whenever I want to, I can just go and hold down the command key, right? So another piece of information I picked up straight into my through my help menu. So the one thing is, guys, uh, now that I've got the hover text, I decide to, you know what, maybe I can actually look at my accessibility features a bit more, seeing that there's a few new features added to the Mac. So if I type in accessibility, and there we go, there's my accessibility. Now, as I typed in my accessibility, it shows me how many results I found and so on. So I can look at all the accessibility features in there. I can click on show all, that will show me all of them, right? And as you can see, there's 147 items in there. The one thing that I quickly want to find is the accessibility shortcuts. So there you can see there's one that I found. It's change shortcut preferences of accessibility. Now, seeing that I'm using accessibility with my hover text, and I can even add some more things like dictation and so on, I want to actually see, maybe I can use that as a shortcut. So if I look at that, okay, yeah, it shows me how to do the shortcut. So it shows me the Y again, open shortcut pane, so I can go through that process. But yeah, I can just click on the pane for me, and it takes me to my shortcut pane. It's pretty interesting. And here it shows me what the keystroke is, and the keystroke is Option Command and F5. If I hold Option Command and F5,
accessibility options.
so then it will open my accessibility options where I can enable things, or I can
press space to toggle an option.
Well, she explains it. So you now I've got those options as well available to me, right? Um, so now I know even a better way to access those things. So now we know how to use the search. We know how to use the sidebar. But let's go a little bit further. Okay, let's look at some things that we actually use a lot. And I would maybe go to work with files and folders. I was talking about dictation earlier on, but I'm going to come back to that maybe a little later. So the one thing I maybe want to look at is, let's look at organized files with stacks. So one of the newer features of not only Catalina, but of Mojave, the previous OS, is where you can make a desktop stack. So now I want to know how this works and so on. So yeah, they tell me how to use stacks on the desktop. And if I go further down, it gives me the instructions. So it says they turn on stacks, click on the desktop, right? And choose view and use stacks, or press control command and 0, and you can control click on the desktop, then choose to use stack. Okay, so those are the 3 options I have to enable stacks. So now I can control command and 0. I love shortcuts, guys, so I can go that route, but I'm going to show you all 3. So I can go to view, use stacks, and there you can see there it shows the shortcut as well. So if I click on that, it will automatically put my items in stacks. Okay, and it says there, browse files in stack, swipe left and right on the stack with using 2 fingers and tap. Something I didn't actually know. So let's try it out. So here I can see my stack. If I swipe with 2 fingers on my trackpad over that, it will actually go through that stack, through the files. Okay, that's pretty cool. Open and close stack by clicking on the stack. Okay, cool. I can do that. It expands the stack. It collapses it, right? So all my PDF documents is all stacked up. You can change how the stack is grouped by clicking on the desktop view, group, stack by, and so on. So I can do this one of two ways. I can go to view, group, stack by, or I can do a secondary click on my, or control click, or right click on the mouse, whichever way you do your secondary click, and I can say group by, stack by, date added, date modified, so on. So I say date added, then you will see that it's now grouped under date, the last 7 days and the last 30 days and so on. You can also change how your stack looks. Okay, you can show view options. To change the option, of control click on the desktop and change it there. So I can go view, show view options, or shortcut command J, or I can do a secondary click and show view options there. So now if I go to show view options, I can now change how my stack will look like. So I can now say, okay, I don't want to have it stacked by date added. I want to have it stacked by kind again. Okay, there's my documents, my PDFs, and so on. And I like to keep it sorted by date added, so it will put always the newest file at the top of my stack. Okay, so I'm going to keep it that way. I can expand my icon. I can expand my grid spacing and so on. So now I can do a lot more with my stack. But guys, it doesn't only end there. I can even go further down, and it talks about using stack on the dock. So yeah, I can actually add a stack on the dock. So your dock comes with a download stack where you can easily access item. If I look at my dock, okay, let me just move my menu aside. If I look at my dock, yeah, I can see, okay, there's quite a few minimized items. Let me close those minimized items down. Apologies, guys. I prepared for this and I opened quite a few menus, so I'll just quickly close them down. There we go. So if I look at my stack, I can see that at the bottom, there is my downloads. So they were not lying. They said there's my stack for my downloads. But if I look at it further, it shows me how I can do the stack for my, or I can create a folder stack. So it shows me there my recent use items. And after that, I can add more folders to create a, 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 a stack of folders on my dock. So here says open and close files, click on it. When a folder is open, double click on it to open the file, to open it, and see folder on the Finder and click open in Finder. Okay, so before that, let's look at this one. Add files and folders, drag and drop folder on the right separator of the line. So I've got my downloads there, which is my same downloads folder, which is in Finder. Okay, so there's my downloads folder. That's the same downloads folder there. So now that I've got a shorter way to get to my downloads folder, I access my documents folder a lot. So I'm going to make a stack of my documents folder exactly the same way as they explain it there. So now I can take my documents folder and I can drag it down and create a stack of it. And you can see there the line is now making space for it. Be careful when you're doing this, guys, because you cannot go and put it on that side, and if you go too far, you might move it to the bin. So that's something you don't want to do. So now I move it onto that line. There's my stack. So now they say I can click on it and expand it and so on. But now I can control and click on the folder, or right click and choose how the items are sorted, and whether it is shown on the dock as a folder, as a stack, and so on. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. So now if I go and I do a secondary click on it, as I can see, it is set automatic as to view the contents. Let's look at the other ways I can show it. I can say fan. I don't kind of like that. Okay, that doesn't show me everything. So let me look at the others. Grid. Grid is pretty good, but it's, to me, a little bit too busy. Okay, but I can set it like that. Let me look at the other option. Let's go list. Oh wow, list is pretty cool. Okay, because it looks like kind of like a finder type of setup. And now I can go and I can actually see all of my items inside of the folders, whichever has an arrow has got items inside of it. And I've got direct access to show me that folder in Finder. So if I click in open in Finder, it takes me straight to that folder or that folder in Finder. Okay, so that's pretty cool. One more thing, cosmetic change. I can also, if I do a secondary click on it, I don't want to show it as a stack, but I actually want to show it as a folder. So now if I go and it will now display as a folder. Okay, so those are the items that they were referring to there. So guys, quickly pick that up just by going through my help menu, right? So I just, I didn't go to any training for that. It's right, it explains it to me. It's nicely done. And in some cases, it takes you to the menu. Now, finally, on closing, two things I want to quickly show you guys. I know I'm beyond my time, but I quickly want to show you. If, however, pardon, you want to see the help menus of other devices, you can go to, you see here where it says resources for my Mac and the resources for my Apple devices. You can go there, and there's for your iPhone, your iPad, iPods, and Apple Watches, even Apple TVs, even HomePods for those who are fortunate enough to own a HomePod. I envy you guys. So you can go and you can even look at those ones. And if you click on it, like if I now go to the user guide for my iPhone, it takes you to straight to the online site. And because you are used to the layout of the one, they haven't made any changes of it. There you can go to your table of contents. You can see the basics, how to use screen time, Siri apps, the list goes on. Okay, so you can pick up quite a few nuggets with that as well, even if you're a professional like myself and Alan. So now, guys, last thing, and this is the one thing that I like to use a lot, especially when it comes to multiple menus and items on it. One thing under the help, you will see there's a search, right? So sometimes you might want to do something and an action that you might not even aware that it's built into the application. So for instance, something simple, like if I want to use the copy command. So there I can see there's the copy command. Pinpoints it to me because it's a menu item. As you can see there, it says it's a menu item. So that is pretty simple enough in Finder. But let's go to a more complex app. Let's go to Microsoft Word. So I always tell my clients, one of the things about Microsoft Office is like it feels like somebody put a big bin of buttons and just dumped it on the screen, you know? And now you have to now figure out who's who in the zoo and so on if you want to use Microsoft Word. Don't get me wrong, I think Microsoft Word is beautiful, it's awesome. But of course, sometimes it takes a while to get around the things. But nonetheless, if we go to our help menu here, we can easily find something the same way as we've done with the Finder. So I'm in Word, I can type in, let's look at that translation function. So we go translation, check this out, it finds translate. It even finds the translate option that goes one level down. So even if something goes further down, you can easily track it through the help. You can click on it, it will take you there. Or if you want to now memorize where it is, you can now go to that option. It's tools, there's translate selection. So guys, that is my presentation, how to use help as well as how to use your user guide on the Mac. Any questions?
So I'm on a very old Mac. I haven't upgraded. I'm going to upgrade at some point. I'm on High Sierra. So obviously none of these things are relevant on High Sierra.
No,
Oh yeah,
is.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
It is.
I was
The
trying
menu-
to do it at the same time as you, and I couldn't find where you were going.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Sorry. It's slightly different. Some of the newer features, like the hover text, is
Stacks is
something.
not.
It's stacks now. It's
Okay.
not there. But some of the other help features you all have available to High Sierra as well.
So can I say something
Like-
there, Emma? Because you don't get confused between some of the features that Angelo was showing and the
Yes.
help system. So some of the things that he was demoing was just basically, look, there's some new stuff and I needed to
Yes.
upskill myself and I found it
Okay.
that way.
Okay.
Yeah. But things like the menu help. So if you click on the menu bar and you
Yes.
type in a word, if there's a menu command for that, it will show you which menu it's in and which one to select to perform that action. Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, new features, that won't be in High Sierra.
Yes, that's system specific. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And the
Thank
other
you.
thing I don't think you mentioned about it, Ange, is that if you cycle through your applications, or every application that has a help function built in will nest its help files inside that help menu. So you'll see a very different help. The word's the same, helps there, but if you're in Pages, it'll say Pages help. If you're in Word, it'll say Word help, and so on. So there's a consistency.
One thing though, guys, the one thing about the Apple apps, like Alan mentioned, Pages, Notes, they are as comprehensive as the Mac help, right? But when it comes to third party, you might see that they only give you a few things in it, like your Adobe help and your Microsoft Word. They are not as complex as so I'm just giving you that as a caution, if you go into that.
I think you'll probably find that where you've got applications that are written for both platforms, because what they've typically tended to do is to write one system that they can use for both operating systems. So typically you might just get a link to a web page in help. But something that's been written specifically for the Mac, you should have very comprehensive and something that's interactive. For example, if you go into, I think Angela might have mentioned, if you go into something that's maybe in system preferences and you do a help, if you click on it, it'll actually launch the system preferences and take you to that page. All good.
Okay, guys.
All good. Very interesting. Wonderful. Thank you, guys, once again.
Thank you, Louis. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Brian.